Hello, my name is Alistair and I am the Bad Mini Painter. Now, the Death Guard was the second army that I actually started collecting, and today I'm going to paint up some Death Guard Blightlord Terminators. And I'm just picking out yes, we're going to go with this one. It's definitely the coolest. They're all cool, but that's the coolest, so we'll do him. So of course I start out with the Death Guard green, and as it is with the first layer, I just slap it on. Like all the areas that I see, I think could use some Death Guard green, we'll get some. And afterwards we do some Agrax Earthshade. Same strategy, just slap it all over and you'll be happy. What I love about the Death Guard is that it seems to be a painting scheme where I can actually manage to get decent results even while being as horribly bad as I am. And as you can see, I'm not incredibly thorough. So what I do afterwards is I just go in and clean up a little bit, and this is precision work, like a ninja. So generally all the places that I want to keep bright, that means not the recesses, I will give a thin coat of Death Guard green again. And it's almost a therapeutic process for me to go through and clean up. It's nice, and I love these models. They're so brilliant because again they're so easy to make. It's so easy to make them look good. After all that lovely green, it's time for some metal. So, Lead Belcher, of course, what else? Well, there's a bunch of really good alternatives, but for some reason my girlfriend bought me 19,000 bottles of Lead Belcher. I asked her to buy a can. It's a long story. The point is, I have Lead Belcher a bunch, and since it's a Citadel color, I need to use it, because they will die in the pot. I don't know how they do it, but they will. And then I go in with Screaming Bell for all the things I want to have being bronze. And I know that's not the traditional bronze you would go in with. It's almost too orange to be a bronze, but I go in with Screaming Bell from Citadel. Because I love it. It's so vibrant and alive, and even though I dull it down with non-oil or whatever, it's still really crisp and metallic. Now I recently started using two thin coats paints from the Duncan fella, and I really love them, especially the Doom Death Black. And I use that for the pipes, and that's pretty much the only thing, because everything else in this model is green or metallic in some way. There's also a little bit of fabric shining through his chainmail, and I paint that with cerise purple. You know, the color you would normally use for Tyranids only. And I try to be precise, but you know, I'm bad, so I will probably hit everything. But that doesn't matter, you can clean up. And then it's time for some lovely dark brown wash from Vallejo. And I slap that on all the metal. It's way thinner than Agrax Earthshade. That's what I like about Vallejo's washes. They seem to go more into all the crevices and the nooks, and not really pigment everything else as much. So it doesn't dull down to the same extent as Agrax Earthshade or non-oil or whatever they're called, all the and then I do some Ivory Tusk again from two thin coats, and it's a warm off-white, a bone white, of course. The name says it all, and I use that as a base color for all the fleshy parts that I'm going to do something horrible to later. And after that I take some, what's it called, it's a brown one, Thundia brown, and here's my hand. But I use that for the handle on the axe. There we go. And now it's time for some lovely highlighting. I tend to go a little bit overboard with my highlighting, yeah. So you don't have to do as much as I do. It maybe it's a bit too much, but generally I give all edges a stroke. There's a joke in there somewhere. And as you're applying it, it doesn't really seem to do that much of a difference, but when you get an before and after picture, it's a huge difference adding that little highlight. And I use orc flesh. Normally I would use Scarskink green or something like that, but I want to try out a more vibrant highlight color. Oh, Jesus Christ, don't smoke, kids. That's very professional. Next, Purple Alchemy from Army Painter. It's a contrast color, or speed paint as they call it. I thin it down a fair bit with a medium, because it looks like that when you don't. So I went over this again with a medium to thin it out, and that's the good and the bad thing about Army Painter's speed paints is you can reactivate them. So you can fuck up a good paint job by trying to adding a highlight, but you can also clean up a mess by adding some medium after you applied the paint. So finally it's Stormhost Silver for more highlighting and also some rivets and nails and stuff around on the model. I highlight both the lead belcher and the Screaming Bell paints, where I feel like it makes sense to add a bit of a highlight. And Stormhost Silver is probably one of the best for that purpose. And then it's time to use some Scale 75. Dubai Brown is with all Scale 75 colors is highly pigmented, thick when it comes out of the dripper bottles, and if you thin it down a bit, it's an excellent color to highlight with, because it has really nice coverage. Anywho, this is the final result you're seeing now. There we go. And I must say I'm fairly proud of this model. I tried to add a filter. So here it is without the filter. Yeah, I don't know what the gimmick is, but I'm trying to do something. I don't know. But I was actually really proud of this result. I think he ended up looking really good, and so there's one thing I can do right? And here he is with all of his buddies. Because when I paint one, I paint them all. I only make a video of painting one of them. But I did go and paint the entire little team. I think they look quite cool. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, seek mental help, and please do like and subscribe for more stuff in the future. Thank you for your time. I know it's valuable, and have an awesome day.